Our motorhome is 27 years old and we've had it for 14 years. It's starting to look a bit shabby, a bit worn in places, including this table here. It's not the original table. The original owners, 14 years ago, made it because, well, to give them more room, and it certainly does that. And we use it all the time. The original table that came with the motorhome is quite large and it doesn't give you a lot of room to move around. Now it does need sanding back and revarnishing, but I'm not going to do that because that's boring, isn't it? Instead, I'm going to turn this table into this. Yes, a map table. I've always wanted a map table in our motorhome. However, when I looked online, I couldn't find any instructions on how to add a map to a table. So I turned to ChatGPT, the AI tool. In this video, I'm gonna follow those instructions and show you what I do, turning this table into a map table. So let's get this table in the garage and start work, shall we? As you can see, I'm now in my garage with the table. Now, I printed off a set of instructions from ChatGPT, and I'm not going to go through all the detail, but these are the steps, the main headlines, if you like. Prepare the table, that's sanding and whatnot. Trim the map, stick the map to the table, seal the map, and then varnish the map and protect it. So that's basically the steps, and I'll go through what I do in the progress of this video. Now, I've also managed to get hold of some Ordnance Survey maps for about £1 each, which was fantastic. This one here is Ollerpool basically, and the surrounding NC 500. These two are the same, exactly the same, New Forest. Then you have Devizes and Swindon, and then Stirling and the Trossachs. Now, I haven't decided which map to use, and some of them are better quality than the others. Especially, I mean, there's lots of creases in some of them, so they'll have to be ironed out before I stick it down. Now, each map has a reason why I chose it. Personal reasons, and, you know, for instance, NC 500, New Forest, have been there many times. Devizes, one of our favourite campsites and locations. And it's not too far away from us. And the Stirling and the Trossachs, well, who can't love a bit of mountains in Scotland? So which map do you think I should actually use for the table? Let us know in the comments section. My first step is to prepare the table, so that's sanding and filling in any cracks and holes. So I've now completed step 1, which is prepare the table. I sanded it back, filled in any gaps I found, and then I did a final sanding with 240 grit. I then cleaned the table using sugar soap. Now that was a mistake, I think, because it really did clean it. You can see all the, it was all brown and whatnot, and all the dust came off. However, also what came off was my filling in, or most of it anyway, so I had to redo that. Did it all again, and this time, rather than using sugar soap, I just wet it down with a damp cloth, and that picked up all the dust. The problem with this table is that there is no edge. There is no barrier to butt up the map to, so I'm going to have to wrap the map around the whole table and then also stick it underneath, so it's one continuous map all the way around. I also removed this ridge here. I filled it in, sanded it down, simply because as the map comes around here, I didn't want like a dimple there. I just wanted it nice, smooth and easy to put the map on. I also chose and trimmed my map here. Now, the map I've chosen is the New Forest, Now, were you correct in choosing the New Forest? It's very colourful and it's very scenic, meaning that there's a whole stretch of water here. That's the Southampton water where we've camped along, at a campsite along there. And of course, we've also got the New Forest where Roundhill is and a few other campsites that we've gone to, Lyndhurst and Brockenhurst and Bewley and all that kind of thing. So I think it's the best of the collection of maps that I bought. So my next step is to stick the map down onto the table using, well, according to this, ChatGPT suggests that I use a PVA-like glue, and it gives me a couple of options here, mixed in with a bit of water. I paste it onto the table, and then I stick the map to it. And then, of course, I've got to get rid of all the bubbles. So I might actually iron this, get rid of these creases first of all, get rid of the bubbles and leave it to dry entirely before I move on to the next step. Do you know what? I'm not really looking forward to sticking the map down, and I'll tell you why. Is it the point of no return, isn't it? And is it going to look good? I'm sure it will, but I'm just worried it's going to look a bit rubbish. So let's stop stalling. Get on with it. One thing I've realised about this map is that it was printed in 92, which means it's older than Herman. Herman was built in 98. It's over 30 years old, this map. Anyway, I'm stalling again. Let's get on and do some ironing and some pasting with glue. Now I've added water to it. This PVA glue looks like milk. Smells like milk as well. Ooh, that's really nice. Oh, no, you're not supposed to see that. Right, here goes, making sure I've got the right way round. Something like that, wasn't it? Is that the edge? That's the edge I want, I think. Yeah, that'll do. Going from the inside out. Oh, this is going to take me ages doing it like this. Getting rid of these bubbles, getting rid of the folds. It's warping, and Copythorn isn't going down properly. Denny Lodge is all going all wrinkled. There's a big crease across the New Forest now. Might have been an idea to cover the map with the glue as well, so it expands, because this is the problem I'm having right now, I think, is the paper is expanding. It's just Brockenhurst, flattening Brockenhurst down at the moment, and it's wrinkling. Setley Common is right on the corner there, and that is not going well for Setley Common. Big crease down the middle. Can I lift it up without ripping? No, it's ripping. Right, that's Southampton still wrinkly. Could put some more pressure on with this cloth. Hopefully that would sort out. I can't get rid of that crease down the middle. That wasn't there when I first put it down, so it has stretched. Oh, look at the state of this down here. And I just noticed my fillers coming out as well. So far, it's a disaster, guys. You know what, though? It does look really good if it wasn't for all the creases. Apparently, Buckler's Hard is a bit more hilly than it used to be. Ah, I've ripped it. I'm right in the corner. Sorry, Stone Farm. Sorry, Allwood Copse, Pitts Copse, Stanmore Point. Oh, it's getting worse. It was going so well to begin with, but then, of course, as the paper expanded and absorbed the glue, it dried quite quickly and started wrinkling. According to the ChatGPT instructions, I've got to put another coat of PVA on here on top. Maybe it will flatten out then, I don't know. I've got my scalpel here so I can, when this is dry, cut the line down the middle here. Marks out of 10? 5? 6? Right, I'm going to let it dry, and then when it's a bit more stuck down, I will start trimming it and see if I can get rid of a few of these ridges and canyons. I'm not entirely happy. But then people have called me a perfectionist. Right, let it dry. So I've just had some lunch and let this dry a bit, and taking a look at it now, it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, of course there's wrinkles all over it, but now it's somewhat dry. It's not too bad at all. I mean, there's some creasing round here and at the end, but the biggest thing is the middle. And this is a crease of the map, which has basically done that. So what I've done, I've cut a line using my scalpel. I've cut it, and now I'm going to overlap it and then roll it with the roller. That should at least improve it, I think. I must say, now I've done that, it is looking much better. I've also trimmed all the excess paper off around the edges. So I basically now have a table with a map on it. Now I just need to let it totally dry, and then we go on to the next step, which will probably be tomorrow. Now, using my roller, my decorating roller, my wallpaper roller, has given me the idea that I should have used this from the very beginning and treated the map and what I was doing like as if it was wallpaper. Anyway, live and learn. It is the next day and the table has completely dried and it's not looking too bad actually. Now the next step, step 4, is to seal the map. So I need to get my PVA glue and paste it on here without any watering it down, no diluting. And then once it's dried, it has to be completely dry. That is when I may need to start sanding, so I can get a nice polished, maybe not polished, but you know, get rid of any little bumps and whatnot. Of course, and as I'm painting it, what could happen is the paper could warp, just like before, so I could start seeing bubbles again. Right, let's get on and paint it. Yeah, we got loads of bubbles happening, but I'm just going to have to wait until it dries, really. I guess the adhesive on the table isn't actually sticking in places. Let's wait until it dries. The PVA is now totally dry and it's looking really good. Of course, there are still some imperfections and some streaks with the brush and some folds and whatever, and where it's bubbled and whatnot. But to be honest, I really don't care. And what I'm supposed to do after sealing the map is to sand it back a bit, just to put a light sand across it to make it nice and smooth. However, if you can see this test area which I've got underneath the table, you can see that Norley enclosure and Bull Hill has a kind of, well, you can see where the sandpaper has actually started to take away the pattern, the print of the map, which is what we don't want to do. I don't want to see white marks all over it because that's where I've sanded it back just to make it smooth. So I'm not going to sand it. My next step is to apply a protective coating, it says here. And it says to use varnish, a particular type, a brand it mentions, Ronseal Interior, which is what I've actually bought here. It's a clear water-based polyurethane. So I'm going to follow the instructions on this can and not use those. Now this stuff dries in an hour or so, so I'm going to be able to put several coats on in one day. Okay, here we go. Right, first coat done, and it's definitely rippling, especially here, the earlier parts. So let's just hope it doesn't dry like that.
Many hours later.
I finally finished it, everyone. It is back in the motorhome, all nice and dry. In the end, I applied 5 coats of varnish, just because I wanted to, really. And every time it would bubble up in certain areas, especially along the creases of the map. However, after it dried, it has seemed to flatten it down. Would I make any changes? I certainly would. I would go and cover the table first in the PVA solution, and also the map, and treat the map as if it was wallpaper, so letting it expand with the, I was going to say paste, but the glue, and then once it's expanded, I would then apply it and then roll it down, just like you would with wallpaper. Is it perfect? No, not at all. There are creases everywhere, especially along this section here. And of course, if I did another varnish, I think some of the areas would lift up again and bubble up. Paint strokes, I can feel the paint strokes of the varnish, but I didn't intend to sand it, so I knew that this would happen. So what I did was I painted all in one direction, giving it a kind of a wood grain effect. Well, that's my excuse anyway. Am I happy with it? Not 100%, I must admit, but I love it. I think it's exactly what I was after. Plus, it's a location of where we know. We've been here several times. New Forest, Southampton Water there, and a few other places, a couple of pub stops that we've done. So, oh, Bewley, of course, there's Bewley. So it is the ideal map, the perfect map for our motorhome and us travelling around in it. If you've enjoyed this video or it's given you some ideas to make your own lovely map table, then why not consider giving it a thumbs up? And you may have noticed this is our hole here. There's no window here. We're getting it replaced, but that will be in another video. So if you're interested in that, or watching us vlogging, travel vlogging around the countryside in our 1998 Herman motorhome, then why not consider subscribing? Until next time, goodbye.